Alright, this video is going to be a little bit different. Just got my cup of coffee here. And I'm going to be talking a little bit about Batman versus Superman. And why I say it's going to be a little bit different is I'm also going to be talking about Injustice. Gods Among Us Year 1. So Batman vs. Superman was supposed to be an iconic movie when it comes to superheroes. Because I think for a long time we waited to see a movie where Superman is pitted against Batman. And I couldn't wait till that movie happen. I was so excited to finally sit down in a movie theater and actually see two of my favorite superheroes going toe-to-toe. And after reading, I haven't finished reading this whole thing, but I've read a lot of it, and I hope to finish it this weekend. There's a lot going on in that. It made me think, in some ways, how similar Batman versus Superman was to Injustice, and I think they got a lot of their inspiration from this. Just for some reason, they went in a different direction. They introduced Doomsday, they introduced Wonder Woman, but I think they could have really built up Batman versus Superman. They could have spent the entire movie doing it, and I think it would have worked. Because the vision that Batman had of a darker world, where Superman is actually ruling the world, that is basically, to me, taken right out of Injustice. So if you can imagine Batman, no superpowers whatsoever, only his intellect, challenging and taking on Superman and the Justice League, like Wonder Woman, whoever aligns themselves with Superman. If you can imagine what that would be like in a world where Superman is actually the ruler of the world, I think that would have been a more interesting movie to do. And then introduce the Flash and change the time back to normal or whatever it is. But I was kind of hoping that they would build that up a bit. But for some reason they packed so much into the movie that you kind of lose that. And I love the battle scene. It's probably one of my favorite battle scenes. A lot of people think, well, you know, Superman could have killed Batman just like that. But the way it played out, Batman actually distracted Superman just for a second so he could send the guns on Batman in that alley and at least distract him enough. And all Superman did was give him a push, or grab him, basically push him and then grab him and throw him through a building. That was it. Batman was almost out of it. That's how quick it could have happened. So I like that. I like that Batman was struggling and distracted him just enough with his little smoke screen. And then because Superman, to me, it makes sense that he's not always aware of what people are doing around him. Like when the wheelchair blew up, he wasn't prepared for it. And when Batman threw smoke at him and then shot him with that green pellet, Superman wasn't ready for it. And he almost has a little bit of arrogance that I'm invincible, I'm invulnerable. And it worked because then obviously the green pellet exploded, weakened Superman enough that Batman can have his way with him. And I love the one scene where they're duking it out in this one building and Batman just laying it into Superman against the wall. And then all of a sudden you could see the strength getting back to Superman gaining his strength. And I was like, oh no, that's it for Batman. And you could see it on Batman as well. You could see the look on his face. So I thought Ben Affleck did a great job in it. And the movie had a ton of potential. I wish they would have went a little bit darker just to explore the other side of Superman. I know in Superman 3, they tried to address that a little bit. There was one scene where Clark Kent actually fights Superman. They split into two. I don't know how it happened, but it was probably one of the better scenes of that movie where Clark Kent is actually taking on Superman, and Superman's like, I've always hated you and all that kind of stuff. You're a coward, you're weak, all this stuff. And Clark Kent is taking on Superman. And I love that scene. A lot of people said too, if they kept that dark tone a little bit longer, it probably would have been a better movie, but they wrecked the movie. The movie ended up being garbage. That's kind of my thought today. So I'm going to finish reading this book, and I'm going to give my full review of this book as well. So something a little bit different, but I think it relates to the DC universe that we have right now. And some of the problems we're running into is, where do you go with the story? Where do you go with Superman and Batman without making it feel campy? And Aquaman, all that stuff. Like, Aquaman is very powerful. He's probably one of the most powerful superheroes in the DC universe. And I hope we see it in Aquaman. I really do. Because he can go toe-to-toe with Superman if done right. Anyways, there's my little take for today. So if you like this video, give me a thumbs up. Let me know, as always, your comments below. What do you think about what I'm talking about? If it makes sense, you know, should DC go a little bit darker? Would that work? What are your thoughts on Batman versus Superman? And as always, subscribe to this channel and stay iconic. Thanks for watching.